Hello there. Welcome to your program, Security Reports, where we get you informed, educated, enlightened, and most importantly, updated on security issues anywhere it is happening. I remain yours and only, Ernest Enuneku.
And I still remain Shirley Daniels.
Yes, on your program this week, we will be bringing you our trip to Rivers State, Port Harcourt precisely, where we actually went to the 6th Division Nigerian Army. We had an exclusive interview with the General Officer Commanding, talking about Major General J. Sana, where he gave us insight into the activities of the Nigerian Army to ensure the protection of critical infrastructures in the Niger Delta.
Yes, before now we all know what Niger Delta is all about. A lot of bombing, the story of pipelines being vandalized and all that. The Nigerian Army are doing a very good job just to make sure, the GOC particularly and his men are doing a good job to make sure that these pipelines are no longer vandalized. It's no longer used business as usual for these hoodlums. We are bringing you that report right away.
The current security situation in 6th Division area of responsibility is presently very calm. It has greatly improved from what it used to be. Kidnappings, random killing and armed robbery, which used to be pastime, has been drastically reduced. Maybe you can even say to the barest minimum. You cannot overrule one or two incidences here and there, but by and large, the area of responsibility of 6th Division, namely Akwa Ibom states, Bayelsa, Delta, and River states, are currently calm. Over time, due to the activities of some miscreants, and to an extent sponsored by certain interests, the area used to be very volatile. Wanton killings, kidnappings for ransom, sea piracy, you can name them. It's just the order of the day. But thank God for the able leadership and then direction given by the Army headquarters under the leadership of the current Chief of Army Staff. We've been able to sit down together with other security agencies, principally namely the police, civil defense, to plan detailed operations, how to curb these menaces. And it has yielded very, very positive results. And then if you move around, for instance, Port Harcourt, you can see, we can simply say that states like Delta, Akwa Ibom, are almost bereft of serious security situations. You can have one or two things in River State, but it's also going down, unlike before, when you hear about sea piracy almost on daily basis. Like I said earlier, to thank the direction, you can only achieve much if you are given the desired support and encouragement. And Army headquarters has been forthcoming in this regard. And then we were very, grateful to the Chief of Army Staff and his team of capable officers, staff officers at Army headquarters, who have been responsive. The Chief of Army Staff mantra is having a professionally responsive army, and then that responsiveness. And just this morning now, an incident happened. I was together with about 3 of his PSOs, and then we are up and doing it. So when you get that from the Army headquarters, you can't help but do more, and that is where we are. You have followed the Chief of Army Staff before you became the Chief of Army Staff. He had been a trainer, and this brigade, this division, happened to be one of the brigades he commanded in the past. So he had already laid down a foundation, which when you come, you can just improve or build upon what has already been said. I was together with Army staff in Nasi when he was commandant. I was his deputy commander. I was privileged to be a deputy commandant under him. And then he has maintained, even while we are there, that there is no alternative to training. And I am a beneficiary to that. Actually, I was a deputy commandant. I was in charge of day-to-day running of the school. So it plays when I also had an opportunity to serve under him when he was the commander of Multinational Joint Task Force. So the training, then I needed to retrain my brigade, 7th Brigade, and then I know exactly what each army staff want, and I exactly know how to achieve those results. So coming back here, and also let me point out again, I was also opportune to go back to that same school where I was a deputy commandant under him. I know the standard laid. I know in terms of training, troops welfare, infrastructure development, name it. And these are things that make soldiering very, very enjoyable and rewarding. So having seen those things that were laid when we were in both MNJTF and Nasi, coming back to 6th Brigade, which used to be 2 Brigade under him, it is just building on a foundation already laid. So it was very easy. And then, like I said earlier, the tremendous support given, by him, the strategic direction and the rest of it, make it easy to do what we are doing. What's in vogue, not only within the military, in larger society, is that the whole thing is about development. And then you can't develop alone, There are other stakeholders, namely the civil populace and the rest of it. And then in the area of security, you can't achieve much without getting the required intelligence. So one aspect of asymmetric warfare or counterinsurgency warfare or the myriad of security situation that we have been faced is that it is intelligence driven. And then the intelligence lies mostly with the civil populace. So we want to go closer to the people, and by going closer to the people, you get, some aspect of assistance. You now avail the larger society to look at soldiering not only in terms of guns, and guns. There are other things. We are agents of development. That's what we're trying to make the society to understand. And through doing issues like we have just mentioned, medical outreaches, minor projects like small road construction, cleaning the environment, football matches, social interaction, football matches, and rest of it. And then it has either desired result. And we get, because of this, tremendous assistance and goodwill from the people, which help us to conduct our routine or daily operations. We have understood the mandate, and then we understood that this area you mentioned is critical to Nigeria's national growth. And then it is our duty to ensure that these critical assets are actually kept safe, maintained, and then we have told the oil thieves in clear terms, in very clear terms, we have zero tolerance for their activities. And then we have liars seriously, together with the other security agencies, namely, or principally, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, who are assisting us to do a lot of good job. The moment we apprehend oil thieves, we hand over to them, and then they do due diligence. Before you know, the perpetrator is in court of law, and then he gets the desired judgment, and then so people have seen that we don't have stomach for illegality here, and then so they have kept it. Though some people are still trying, but then we have not relented, and then that has greatly improved oil production and other oil-related issues, and then the hitherto pipeline vandalization and rest of it is almost a sin of the past now. Though there are some here and there, but you can't rule out completely. But we get there, we get there. There is tremendous, the troops on their best top, that they're doing the best they can. Day and night patrols, snappy roadblocks, and then checks here and there within the creeks and on land. So we are on the trail of any economic saboteur. The instructions are very clear, and then the troops are complying.
Welcome back to your program Security Reports. We must say kudos to the Nigerian Army, especially the GOC 6th Division, talking about Major General J. Saham, for doing a yeoman's job in securing and protecting the critical infrastructures in the Niger Delta.
Yes, we know that without security, it will be difficult for infrastructure, for the economic growth of a country to boost. So I want to say a very big thank you to the GOC in the person of J. Saham for doing a yeoman's job, like you said. It is not an easy one, but we are expecting him to do even more.
Yeah. Now, still on your program, right now we might be surprised where we are. We are at the International Conference Center here in Abuja. And ongoing as we speak is the Interpol Week 2019. Interpol is simply the International
Criminal Police Organization.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a program that has started since on the 23rd of August, and today happens to be the last day of the program.
Yeah, we covered the opening ceremony where informations were given on the need for the world to be properly policed. Now, Interpol have been doing a lot to ensure the coordination of police in all the countries. Over 190-something countries are members of Interpol, and they've been doing a lot to ensure that the world is safe.
In fact, the Nigerian police have shown how vast they are, how intelligent they are in carrying out their policing job, making sure that this job goes far beyond the shores of Nigeria, taking it outside the country. And the reports getting back to us shows that our Nigerian police are actually doing great, massively well, in all these countries where they are being located.
Now, we must also say that this is the first time this 1 week has been dedicated to policing, international policing, and kudos to the IGP and the organizing committee for putting these programs together to ensure that the world is a safer place. Let's get you some of the highlights of the opening ceremony.
The relationship between Interpol Nigeria and Interpol General Secretariat has been enhanced with major benefits to Nigeria. The Secretary General of Interpol, Dr. Georgian Stock, was here to sign a memorandum of understanding between Interpol and Nigeria on the West African Information System, WAPIS. This system will enable the relevant agencies access, contribute, and query various police criminal databases. Interpol is also extending the I-247 communication platform, which will give access to the 18 criminal databases of Interpol to sister law enforcement agencies. The Nigerian Immigration Service and the Economic and Crime Commission, EFCC, they have perfected their extensions and other are in the advanced stages of being connected. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud of our IGP and the vision he has set for the force. Under his tutelage and guidance, the cyber crime unit of the Interpol section supported the successes of the last national general elections. For those of you who are not aware, in the 2019 general election, the Interpol has played an important role by monitoring and taking down subversive websites. There are some who wanted to hack into the system of the INEC as well as other institutions. We are able to bring them down.
Apart from making available to its countries the I-24/7 communication network and its many databases, Interpol's main role is also to provide training for officials in charge of combating crime and to assist countries and in the organization of police operations. As we can see on the agenda of the event, police issues will be elaborated in depth. I would also like to thank the organizers for combining police matters and social actions to the program, as the population should see the police as a solid partner and not something they should fear. Once the population has trust in the police, intelligence will be easily supplied to them. It is also worth thanking the Nigerian police for making available space that will serve as the new NCB Abuja headquarters. All in all, Interpol is proud of all your action, which will help the police at large in fighting transnational organized crime and promote better international police cooperation. From my part, I will make sure that the Interpol Week we are celebrating now be introduced by all the 16 Interpol National Central Bureaus in West Africa. It is a real good example of promoting Interpol. We all know how transnational threats such as terrorism, cross-border trafficking, narcotics, human beings, firearms, vehicles, and so on, or cybercrime are major destabilizing factors in our countries. In this context, Interpol is well positioned to support the Federal Republic of Nigeria in its commendable efforts by providing police capacity to provide appropriate responses to the operational and strategic needs of its police services. Also, rest assured, Interpol will always bring all its human and material expertise to assist you in your noble mission of security.
This event is unique. Firstly, it is the first time that the Nigerian police, where the Abuja National Central Bureau is situated, has dedicated this week towards drawing attention of all law enforcement agencies, security agencies in the country on the activities and strategic role of Interpol in Nigeria and the role of Interpol at the regional and global level. Secondly, the week will enhance the professional knowledge of law enforcement officers, as strings of lectures are designed to give them insight into the capabilities and the opportunities that Interpol could offer
in the aid of the attainment of our security management mandate. Thirdly, it is unique because coming at this time when the nation, the sub-region of West Africa, and the international community are faced with complex, transnational, and technologically driven security threats, the Interpol Week therefore presents a unique opportunity for all strategic security actors and stakeholders within and beyond the country to interact, discuss, build veritable professional network, and evolve workable strategies within the context of Interpol's mandate towards tackling the security threats in a coordinated and sustainable manner. Firstly, it is unique because in the course of the week, we shall be laying the foundation stone for the construction of Abuja National Central Bureau headquarters, which is a landmark initiative. Indeed, on a personal note, the uniqueness of Interpol Week is accentuated by the presence of the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Mohammed Megari Dingyadi, as the event shall go down in the history as his first official public engagement after his appointment. I feel honored to welcome you very warmly, the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, also the Interpol Secretary General being represented by the head of the Regional Bureau, and other partners and friends who have come to avail us their support and technical expertise. If you can remember, Interpol celebrated 100 years of existence in 2014, and the idea of Interpol was first born in Monaco at the first International Criminal Police Conference, which was held in April 2014, in the course of which officials from 24 countries discussed cooperation in solving common crimes. Over the years, the membership of the organization has grown from a committee of the original 24 chiefs of police to a worldwide body comprising of 194 member states. And Interpol's vision is nothing but connecting police for a safer world. In Nigeria, therefore, Interpol has been supporting the law enforcement communities in diverse ways, particularly in relation to criminal information processing and sharing, and global monitoring and apprehension of criminal elements. The Abuja National Central Bureau maintains criminal databases in this regard. These include the I-247 database, which is currently being expanded under Project Jimmy, with support of American government, and the West African Police Information System, WAPIS, which is a criminal database which is being supported by the European Union. These projects are supporting our efforts towards combating cybercrime, drugs and human trafficking, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, armed robbery, carjacking, fraud, environmental crime, kidnapping for ransom, violent extremism, and terrorism. Much as Interpol framework has been helpful in strengthening partnership among national law enforcement agencies towards addressing global security questions, the issue of border security and management remains a constant threat. In this regard, the signing of the African Free Trade Agreement within the ECOWAS framework will present a new set of security threats in West African sub-region, for which we need to step up our collaborative efforts, devise new strategies, and build enduring partnership to contend. It is our expectation that this concern shall form part of this our discourse during this event.
It is with great delight that I welcome you all to this auspicious occasion of the International Criminal Police Organization, that's to say Interpol Week 2019. I am glad that the Inspector General of Police has initiated this event to bring to the general public the whole range of Interpol tools and the resources with a view to familiarizing them on how to access them. As noted by the IG in his opening remarks, this initiative is unique, not only for being the first time in the history of Nigeria Police that a program of this nature is being organized, but because it is also the first time that and I have an official function that I have been performing since my assumption of duty as Minister of Police Affairs. Crime is growing very sophisticated and transnational, with organized criminal groups committing crimes that touch multiple jurisdictions. Interpol as a global organization with membership from 194 countries is the best bet to track their activities and bring them to face the full wrath of the law. Nigeria has been facing a series of criminal security challenges ranging from terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, trafficking in arms, and other illicit activities. The present administration, under the able leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has promised Nigerians the security of lives and property is the primary objective of this administration. His Excellency, Mr. President, created the new Ministry of Police Affairs to give special attention to police issues with a view to repositioning the police for better service delivery. This is a very laudable development. Coming at a critical time like this in the history of this great nation. The ministry under my watch will work with the Inspector General of Police to ensure that the necessary tools and equipment needed by the police is secured to take policing to the next level. We shall also work with other agencies and the international partners to ensure that the Nigeria Police becomes a model in law enforcement in our region. I also want to ensure that as the necessary tools are provided to the police, we will also work at improving the welfare of police officers to boost their morale for greater productivity and efficiency. Before I conclude, I want to warmly welcome our friends from Interpol, General Secretariat, Lyon, France, and other law enforcement agencies here present to this meeting. As we share experiences and draw from experiences of our Interpol partners, I believe we will make the world a safer place. With these few remarks, it is now my honor and pleasure to declare the Interpol Week 2019 formally open. I wish you all very fruitful and eventful deliberations. Thank you and God bless.
Welcome back from that report. We are still here at the International Conference Center in Abuja. Now, one thing we got from the meeting so far is the synergy between the police in different parts of the country, especially in Africa, to make sure that they curtail the issue of light arm proliferation. Yes, because when an arm is being in the wrong hand, it could cause a whole lot of damage. Now, this is one of the things they have discussed so far to make sure Africa, Nigeria is safe.
Now, what we must also state here that most of the issues we have here in Nigeria, in all parts, especially in the northeast and in north central, now the issue of banditry is majorly due to light arm proliferations in the hands of wrong people. And I tell you, the meeting so far here deliberated on issues to ensure that it is curtailed to a great extent, to ensure that Nigeria is safe and other parts of the country is also safe.
And NS, you know that once, even in a neighboring country, when they have an issue of crime, it definitely affects the next country that is closer to it. Now, moving forward, we are taking you straight to Abia State, where we had an exclusive interview with the governor of Abia, in the person of Governor Okezie Ikpeazu. Now, in that interview, he told us how he had made sure that Abia State remains safe, clean, and most importantly, that the commercial activities, in Abia State is moving forward. It's taking it to a greater height. And I see you are there with us.
We must state clearly that Abia State is a state that has actually produced, especially Aba, the industrial nerve of Abia State, have brought Nigeria to the limelight in terms of production of shoes, bags, and other textiles. And the governor have said that his administration so far has encouraged the Abians to do a lot and to ensure that they contribute more to the economic development of Nigeria as a country. Let's get you that interview now.
Excellency, it's a pleasure to have this interaction with you. Today in Nigeria, situation seems to testing the will of leaders like you in terms of security, because everywhere you go, people seem to be talking about security and insecurity. We have been here in Abia State for some days now, and everywhere seems to be calm and quiet. But for the benefit of people who would like to know what's happening, how is the security situation in Abia State as you speak?
Well, thank you very much. Abia comparatively is very quiet and stable. There are no surprises. We still have, snippets of kidnapping here and there, and then issues of cultism, young people waylaying people, and then, but beyond that, we have kept armed robbery under check. We have kept kidnapping strictly under check, and our major cities are quite safe. Our rural areas are quite safe. Fortunately for us, we've not had so much of banditry and herdsmen clashes with farmers. But suffice it to say that the security situation in Nigeria is a result of tension, and desperation brought about by a combination of economic situation, global outlook and perception about Nigeria, which makes it not very fashionable for people to seek greener pastures elsewhere. So labor mobility has also become an issue. Those who used to leave school and go to far north in search of greener pastures are no longer able to do that. So people seem to be restricted within a small space. So whenever you find mounting economic issues, inflation, unemployment, and coupled with issues of labor mobility, where people are no longer able to access opportunities in far-flung areas within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, even within the West African sub-region and even Africa. You know the problem of the problem in South Africa with xenophobia. You also must have heard about the issues in southern Cameroon. You must also have seen the negative consciousness against Nigerian businessmen in Ghana and all of those. Speaking as an Igbo man, our people are highly itinerant. You now find a situation that we are no longer able to move around, and that has led to increased tension, that has led to increase in what they say in chemistry. It's called entropy. People move around quickly, and then there's tension. But beyond that, we have managed to create hope, and it is based on this that we're able to vend our vision and our idea for a better tomorrow for our people, and that has seemed to work for us here.
Yes, sir. I know that you said earlier that fortunately you've not had issues of herdsmen and farmers clashes, but I know it's a concerted effort you made I know about the committee which you set that are working on that. I think don't you think this could be emulated by some other states that are having issues like that?
Yes, I think that criminality is a social issue, in the sense that it dovetails from human behavior, or disagreements or misconceptions, or people not communicating with each other. But for us in Abia, we understood this from beginning, and we knew that the average Igbo man requires you to say sorry if you step on his toes, and if you don't take time to say sorry, he may not allow you to get away with it, and then all kinds of confrontation can ensue and things can get out of hand. So we have created this conflict resolution committee down to, we're now even going to the community level. It used to be at the local government level. So what we are trying to do now is to also create it at the community level and make the traditional rulers the chair of those conflict resolution mechanisms, so that we can first of all come to the table. So whenever there is altercation between the herdsman and the farmer, assuming cash crops are lost, the farmer knows that he can run to the traditional ruler, or he can run to the local government chairman, or he can even run to the governor. And even the Hausa man knows that if he loses a cow, that there is a place where he can seek redress. So at that point, nerves are calmed and people will become more logical in their discussion going forward. And it has worked for us, and we intend to continue along that trajectory.
Yes, before we take over, we know you are very busy, but we cannot get away from some of the policies and actions you're having to ensure that APA particularly is made more safe. And recently, in a meeting you had with the Commander-in-Chief, President, IG made a presentation talking about CCTVs in some model areas. We know that CCTV is a technology that will work, but what is being done? What do you think? How do you think it will work?
Oh yes, I have always advocated the fact that if we want to combat crime, we must come up with a combination of devices. One is that we must do something about unemployment, and we must do something about communication and education. Because when people are educated, they are more appreciative of cause and effects. Before they go into criminality, they already know what the consequences will be. Thirdly, we must develop science and technology to the point where we must be one step ahead of the criminals. But if we allow the criminals go one step ahead of us, it makes it very, very dangerous. And our circumstance is precarious here because of proliferation of small arms in Africa. This dovetails from the conflicts in the sub-region, Southern Sudan, Libya, now Southern Cameroon, and all of that. So this proliferation of small arms, gives the criminals access to AK-47, and it's a very dangerous rifle to be in the hands of a miscreant. So in Abia, we are saying yes, it's good to have CCTV around. CCTV can only be useful for two purposes. One is that it could alert relevant officers and then trigger off quick response. The other one is that it can be useful in investigations when you have to review CCTV footage and know which characters were seen at the scene of crime. In both circumstances, we think that without a strong database, that the CCTV may just become watching home video of people passing through. And that is why in Abia we are developing what we call, the acronym is CPAMS. What it stands for is that we're trying to create a database where every police division, every police unit in Abia, right from the local government division, every police facility that is capable of arresting and detaining criminals must have a computer that bears our software that can enable the officers in charge to store data about everybody they detain. It doesn't matter what the depth or detail of the crime is, but we just want every criminal to be profiled up onto your village, your parents, even the picture of your building in the village, your biometrics, your date of birth, your fingerprints, your height, and special marks, your tattoos and all of those. You'll be thoroughly described on the database. Up until the reason why you were released, are you on bail, whatever, and all of that. So when we have a database that will transmit online real time from the point of incidence where you are detained to the area command, from the area command to the police headquarters in the state, up until the office of the IGP. We think that with such a robust database, it will be easy for us to know who we are tracking. One, no criminal can be a pastor in one location and a criminal in another location. We will integrate the data and know that this is the same one and same person that is causing mayhem everywhere. And the IGP will know that the Abia Police Command is in custody of a notorious kidnapper with his name and aliases. And he keeps track of where he has gone. If he is released, where? If he's in court, how is the case progressing? You don't get a full closure until we know we get to the logical end of the matter. So it will double check what the police is doing. It will also help us to keep track of these criminals. So that tomorrow, if there's a CCTV footage of a crime scene, we try to see if some of the individuals on that scene are already in our database. If the answer is yes, we know who to go for. And we are using our state as a pilot state. We think that this is not rocket science. We think that it's something we can do. We think that it is the only way to complement the initiative of the IGP. Because we must prepare a substructure on which he will build that is superstructure that he's dreaming about. But without this substructure, it will be difficult for what he's created to work. In a question of a year or two, criminal database in Abia will be so robust that we think that other states will copy it. And once we can replicate it in the 36 states of Nigeria, it means that we have the history of all our criminals in our hands. And then we know who we're looking for. We can take them out even without their committed any crime. We don't have to wait for them to commit the crime. We can take them out gradually. We can say, yes, we have, say 15 suspected kidnappers in an environment. Out there, we are looking for them. So if we get one, we know that we're now looking for 14 until a new person enters, until we consistently and systematically wait on them.
Yes, this is another pound, another innovation, because you seems to be introducing a lot of innovation. When you came up on board, there seems to be a lot of restiveness among the youths because of the Made in Aba was not being talked about so much, but we noticed you took so many of them to China to then advance their trade and make them more economically viable. What is the situation now? I'm sure that you're getting more reports from them.
Yes, that led to the building of the first automated shoe factory, which we expect to commission in the next few months. And then we have in our space also a Brazilian shoe factory that is almost, in fact, it's a leather cluster where shoes are going to be produced according to the world standard. And as I speak, the Nibra shoe factory is in discussion with the Alaba shoe importers. And I'm sure that in the next 6 months, most of the shoes that we import in Nigeria will be supplied from Aba. But the big picture is that we're trying to acquire a microfinance bank, which will be dedicated to the financing of small and medium-scale enterprises our own way. Because I had a discussion with Bank of Industry. They wanted us to bring 500 million so that they will match with other 500 million and give our artisans $1 billion. And we said, well, this is the same way, one other way of saying bring collateral. Government may not have 500 million to put down. So if the federal government is willing, or Bank of Industry is willing to advance 500 million, why don't you go ahead and advance 500 million? We'll guarantee it. If it fails, you can pounce on our location. Asking us to go borrow 500 million and then you bring a match, as far as I'm concerned, amounts to delaying the medication that will heal somebody. If you know that certain medication is efficacious against an ailment, and then you are delaying the administration of that, it means that you are not even sure. So what we did was to go and package our own microcredit bank. So financing is going to become, a regular thing, the norm here for serious-minded small-scale industries. Of course, you are aware that we partnered the federal government in the last 3 years to establish the area independent power, which is aimed at supplying light to 34,000 shops in our area. And we are encouraging and asking all the small manufacturing outfits in our area to converge around that power center so that they can enjoy the privilege of steady power. The good news is that the power is derived from our gas here in Abia. I had said it earlier that in Abia State we don't have business with Shiroro. We have enough gas to give us all the electricity we need. All we just need is to adopt the requisite science and the technology to deal with it, and that is what we are looking at now.
Yes, I see. Recently there was the news that came up, a young, vibrant Abian was shot by a soldier and he died. But you played the role of a true leader by going in to assuage the situation, calming the inflamed nerves. What is the situation about that?
Well, I thank God that fourth columnist wanted to latch on that unfortunate incident to cause a breakdown of law and order. First we insisted that the Nigerian military does the needful, which was to arrest the culprits. What actually raised and caused tension was that the first responders from the military perspective were in denial. They said it wasn't a soldier, that it was one cult boy. Unfortunately, for the young man who shot that person, he was well known in that locality. But by the day I visited, they called his name, said this is his name, that he's now clean shaven, that he went to visit, he visited his barber. So he's somebody who is well known to that community. So we insisted that the boy be arrested, and I thanked the Nigerian Military High Command. I even received a call, I received a call and a visit from the brigade commander. He did so well, he was very proactive, and gave me an update. And also shared my telephone number with the GOC in Enugu, and he called from Hajj that they were on top of the situation, and swiftly they arrested the young man. and was assured by the GOC that he will be sacked from the military and then handed over to police for necessary action. So with all these pieces of information, I was armed properly to go to the family, to say to them, your son did not die in vain. It was an accident and it could happen to anybody. But good thing is that whosoever killed that young man will face the full weight of the law. And then what gives closure to a family that is bereaved in this circumstance is the certainty of the fact that the culprit will be arrested and brought to book. But if you create a vague picture around justice taking its course, then they may resort to, taking laws into their hands. So that's it.
The Chief of Army Staff particularly talked about your political will in making sure that the army operates seamlessly and perfectly. That you're assisting them even in a community relation. What is the relationship with you and the Nigerian army?
I would say very, very cordial, and I've never had a problem because I know why the military is out there in the first place. Their place is the barracks, but they're out there because as an interventionist force, we are at a point where without the military it will be difficult for us to deal with the criminal elements in our environment for two reasons. One, the police is overwhelmed in number. They don't have the number to police Nigeria. So, but from point of view of complementing the police, we think that they are necessary. But I also understand that the military does not have an IPO. They are not trained to take statements. They are not trained to stand against you in court and adduce evidence against you. So once you are in confrontation with a soldier, the matter must end one way or the other. So this is the psychology, and we have to go into public enlightenment in a massive way to tell our people to, yes, it's good to demand your right, it's good to ask for a right, but in asking for a right, you have to, if the soldier is involved, you have to be careful and communicate clearly. The soldiers are not the best set of people for practical jokes unless they are in the officer's mess. If you are not serious, if you don't have anything to do, don't go around the police soldier to do it. Because psychologically speaking, the philosophy behind soldiering anywhere in the world is to create killing machines. That is the thing, whether we like it or not. Because searching for peace through war is to create people that can frighten people and bring them quickly to the table. So for a civil society like ours, ideally they shouldn't be around. But because we have found ourselves where we are now and they are around, so we have to tone down our engagement with them, even as we appeal to them to also know that we are not their enemies. We are the people they are supposed to protect. So it is an aggregation of this mindset that has given us the philosophy, that has built the kind of relationship and synergy we have with the Nigerian military in Abia. And I would say that you can hardly find a state where the military, government and the people are enjoying the kind of conviviality and mutual respect that we enjoy in Abia, save for that ugly incident, of that day.
Welcome back from that interview. We must say kudos to Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu, the Executive Governor of Abia State, for doing a lot to ensure the economic security of Abia State and in extension Nigeria as a whole. We must say kudos to him and his government for ensuring that the youth are meaningfully engaged.
Yes, in fact, we are encouraging the youth of Abia State to tap into what the governor is doing to make sure that, because once they are busy doing something, trust me, the issue of crime, insecurity is going to be will reduce drastically in Abia State. Abia State, Aba precisely, we know is the next China in Nigeria. I want to use this opportunity also to encourage, to call on the people of Nigeria to patronize Made in Aba. We can't take, let's bring the money back home. let's bring the money back home, Ernest.
Yeah. All right, we are still here at the International Conference Center where you have the Interpol Week 2019 ongoing. Now, we must say too that a lot have been discussed at this meeting, and we believe that after the resolution, the communique, it will be put into motion to bring a more peaceful environment, a more peaceful Nigeria, a more peaceful nations all over the world.
Until we come your way next time, I still remain Shirley Daniels.
And I am Ernest Enuneku. Bye-bye for now.